I got one night in now, yeah. Tell me why you wanting this, all you. Never really been the one to set the mood. But the candle's burning, baby, we gon' let it burn slow. Got lights, cameras in this bitch, so baby, let's go. You got one chance to get it, show me why you made her. These groupie girls tryna get me caught up fornicating. Falling for me cause they all probably think I'm famous. Just so they can say that they almost had my baby, let's go. I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? You be loved, cause I never fall in love for real. Baby, show me what you want. Baby, tell me how you feel, you want it for yourself. Cause the way you do it right back to me got me going crazy, yeah, yeah. No tripping, unless I'm flying to you. New York City women look like nothing when you're here, yeah. You love my sound, say I always sing amazing. Baby, tell me when you're down, you know that I'll be there, let's go. City, you know how this ends, right? I got one night in your city, you know how this ends, right? Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Send me those pics that you don't put up on the gram. Look like a goddess, oh my lord, oh my oh man. Yeah, I learned a lot in 2016. Some don't see the cost just to chase dreams. Half of y'all never want to struggle, but still expect the beauty this amazing grind brings. That's jaded, me, I took a leap. No school, I'm in this without a single guarantee. No fallback, no backup plan. Mama said get a plan B, just to know I'm not that man, so I'ma get it. No other option in my system. Now I'm up next. Remember when no one would listen? From that kid they picked on back in middle old school like every day. To the man of the year, in my state in every way. I worked hard until my craft bloomed. Called exactly where I am now like last June. Words mean nothing but these stats do. Read it on my tattoo. Beauty in the struggle, I got everything they lack. Ooh. Ignorance is bliss. I don't wanna know my future. Cause if I knew I'd blow, I probably wouldn't work as hard.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Not a huge crowd today, but either way, gonna do a quick market analysis. Usually I don't stream on Fridays, but it's always open if I can find the time. Real quick, not gonna go into too much detail, but the trading bot goes live Monday. If you need help setting it up, go to my Discord. My Discord's free, by the way. All you gotta do is have a Discord account, sign in, whatever. And then there's full information of how to get access to it. Again, it's fully free for you guys to use. We just keep 10% of the profit share, meaning if we make you money, we keep 10%. If we don't make you money, we don't get anything. And this month's performance so far, we're up 20%. So, mostly going to look at Bitcoin today. But seeing as a lot more people are joining in, what's up, Nuno? What's up, Ahmed? Toddy, nice to see you. Yes, sir, how's it going? Nice to see all you guys. I'm going to do this quick. I only have like 15 or so minutes. I have to go. I have a match at the end of the month, at the beginning of next month, so I have to go train in like an hour or so, but I got to be there early to stretch. So let's talk Bitcoin 4 hour and then move up from there. Maybe look at Bitcoin dominance a little bit. Probably not going to look at everything. I do want to look at the dollar as well. Maybe we will look at the weekly charts actually, because it's Friday and a lot of these charts close or have closed already. So Bitcoin 4 hour, made a couple of tweets this morning, and I want to be as clear as I can be. Regardless of what happens in this range, whether we go up, whether we just go down, the ultimate goal is that we go back down. We either retest lows, right? We either come back down to lows, or we go back to 52K, which is acting as the new support level. Okay, why is that? Because we've had bearish price action the entire time, because we have little to no bullish reversal signs, because we're trading between what is now resistance and support. We've rejected this resistance 5 times now. There's nothing that says this is bullish yet. So I don't want there to be confusion. If we do, over the weekend, wick up to 61K. Again, that doesn't mean we are necessarily bullish. Guys, there's nothing. And look, this is open to change. If we kind of dance around and we come in here and do something like this, right? Maybe we get a bullish divergence in there, a double bottom, something like that. Then yeah, you know, we can change our opinion and we can flip to bullish. But as of right now, there is nothing on hour 4 that is bullish. On the daily, there's only one, right? Being those divergences, right? We do have bullish divergences. But with that said, we have 10 other things that are technically confirming a downtrend, right? We have volume going up, price going down. We did bounce from the bottom of our weekly Bollinger Band, which is also pretty good. I guess some divergence and MACD. But again, my problem with this bounce, you have, again, low volume, price going up. So price action isn't confirming an uptrend, right? It's not saying that we're going to reverse yet. And now that's, again, subject to change. We could stay in this range. And again, these diagonal lines may or may not mean anything, but we could stay in this range and do something like this. And again, form bullish divergence, change price action, maybe act out the bullish divergences on the daily on both RSI and MACD. So we're kind of in a weird mode, right? You can look for longs, but that doesn't mean you take them yet. There's nothing that's confirming or nothing that's giving a clue to take longs yet. It's all looking like shorts are the way to go. And again, if we do wick or something like that, that's okay. Just let it happen. Do not FOMO into it. Don't be the person that, maybe if we wake up and then you say, oh, he was wrong. Look at the volume, right? Volume's going to be your best friend for something like this. And all that's going to do is act as, I guess, a lower time deviation, since this is acting as resistance to get people to FOMO to then dump it lower, right? Just be careful on that if you're looking for longs at that level. What's up, Chris? How's it going? So a couple of key things on the weekly. I know I'm working my way from the bottom up. I wanted to change things up this week. It's been a boring couple of months. We've had the lowest exchange trading volume in over a year, in like a year, because it was September 2023. You open up Bollinger Bands. We are at the low point, right? In my opinion, we are still ranging between these two bands before we make a decisive move, whether that be down or continuation up. In my opinion, I think it's up. I think RSI, MACD, I think stocks being at all-time highs, showing strength. I mean, there is a ton of strength outside of crypto. Tether dominance also leaning bearish, which is, again, bullish for crypto. I mean, look, ultimately could go down, but I'm not seeing it. We also have bullish price action on the weekly. Volume's been going down as price has been moving sideways and slightly lower. It's not like we're dumping significantly hard. What else can we discuss? Let's go to Tether dominance real quick, just so I can show this on the weekly. We have volume going down, price going up, rejecting, right? Resistance where it was acting as support once before. We're still in a macro bullish environment until that changes, right? There's too many areas of confluence that suggest macro bullishness, especially being the equities, right? You look at equities and they're insanely bullish, right? Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, all well above all-time highs, outperforming, forming bullish continuation patterns, relieving RSI when it needs it, and continuing upwards. That is very bullish. It's a very strong uptrend. I don't see how that doesn't translate into crypto soon. In the past years, Binance manipulated volume with wash trading. Now they're building bear trap and just paused volume manipulation. It wouldn't surprise me. Now Bandian. Hi, Roman. What's your take on the Mt. Gox Bitcoin release that's pending? I don't care. Guys, I really don't care about fundamental events. The Mt. Gox thing has been sitting over our heads for like 4 years. I stop looking into that and stop worrying about it. Read the charts. If you're really that scared and you think that that is going to be a catalyst, then don't trade, right? I don't use fundamental events and fundamentals to trade, right? The market's always forward looking, and that event may or may not happen, right? Everyone's going to fudge you out and make you believe that something might happen so that you miss the ultimate move. Genesis started sending Bitcoin to Coinbase to repay creditors. I mean, that's for the Binance stuff, right? And here we go, the German government thing. Sorry, I didn't read the last bit. So I believe the United States sold like 3 times what the German government sold, and that was down here. Okay, and look what happened following. I'm just not a believer in following fundamentals unless it's a global scale. I think fundamentals are, like, I'll give you this example. This was COVID-19, right? I have the newspaper, and one of these days I'll post it again. I've posted it before, but I can post it again. On the day the newspaper came out that said the NASDAQ was entering bearish territory, all markets are going into recession, everything's crashing, this worldly disease is going to ruin everybody. That was March 13th it was published. I believe on March 16th, we bottomed. Like 3 days after that newspaper came out, the market bottomed and started the largest bull run in human history. So again, this idea that fundamentals drive the market, I'm just not. Do they drive the market? Yes, but not in the way that you'd think. The market's forward looking, right? During COVID, which was basically all of this plus, right? I mean, really. I think in May 2020 we were still wearing masks. So where are we here? Like all of the like all of this was COVID. We bottomed the day that newspaper came out about COVID, and we went up. I mean, we went up almost 500%. So again, I'm not trying to like shut you down or anything. And look, maybe you're right. Maybe all that Bitcoin gets sold, but what if it doesn't? Right? It's just an event with possibility, and people are going to use that event to scare you into game engagement. Guys, half of Twitter is about trying to get engagement. Right? I usually don't do stuff like this, but you ever see the charts that look like this? Where they'll be like, they'll put an X here and an X here with like an M, and they'll just draw a straight line like this. Okay, if I posted something like this and said, oh, it's over, right? Some of you that have been loyal and following me for a while might believe it. And you might share it to your friends, and your friends will see it, and everyone on Twitter will see it, and I'll have 10 times the engagement that I normally get. That's not what I like to do. I don't like to spread bullshit. So, for me, you gotta kind of lean away from some of these people on Twitter that abuse worldwide events like that. Yeah, and it's Mt. Gox. Sorry. Is crypto related to the Russell 2000? It rose and represents small assets like crypto. Here, let's pull it up. So if you ever want to know, I guess it's this, right? Or would it be the E-mini? Oh, I guess you can do this, US Russell 2000. I mean, you tell me. I don't think it's been related at all. Maybe a little bit. Can't even make that line up. Let's try this. And somewhat, but the Russell 2000 made a lower low when Bitcoin was well above its low. I get what you're saying here, but everything during COVID did this. What's going to happen to gold? I'm not sure. I don't really follow gold. Partially because I think gold is a scam. I mean, unless you're trading it, right, regularly, like you're in and out of it, holding it for long periods of time. Like the only reason you hold gold is because you think the world's about to collapse. And if the world collapses, the only things that are going to be of value are bullets, guns, fishing hooks, fishing lines, food, water, right? No one's going to care about your gold. No one's going to go, oh, I'd love to have some gold when they're starving. Right, let's talk about a couple other things. Talked about this idea of alt summer. Still kind of hopeful, right? We're back in the 54% area, teetering off. Just looking at the 4 hour. We had this head and shoulders here. Retest. Have been consolidating for quite some time. I'd say next week if we bounce, like you open up the weekly, if this bounces, it's probably not going to happen, right? We're getting to the point now where this is likely acting as consolidation if it doesn't just dump. Now, again, with the fundamentals, and again, I'm not a big fundamental trader, but if you're looking for fundamentals, you have the Ethereum ETF. You have Ethereum now being a commodity and not a security. You have many different reasons to have this alt summer, right? Alts just got absolutely annihilated as well. In my opinion, they've bottomed. Look, I can't, look, I know it's possible. I don't want to say I can't, this will never happen. But it's hard for me to imagine a world where alts corrected 70%, Bitcoin corrects 30%, and then we correct another 70% while Bitcoin corrects another 20 to 30%, right? We're at least going to get some kind of sizable bounce, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that it's a for sure thing. Sorry, I have to check the time. Doesn't mean it's a for sure thing, but I'd give it a more than likely chance that we at least see a significant bounce soon. And most of that bounce is going to come in alts, which again will drive Bitcoin dominance lower, right? If alts are outperforming Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance goes down. Let's do... What else do we want to do today? I've got like 5-ish minutes. If you guys have any questions on anything I've talked about, please put them down now. I'll try to answer as many as I can. But in the meantime, let's look at the dollar. So this is nice. Nice to see. I'll be the first to admit, I originally said that this wasn't a double top. It's looking very, very double toppy. My problem with it not being a double top, if you open up a line chart, we didn't breach that left-handed side. Generally, you do. Now, I know the wicks did, but this morning when I flipped the chart like this, if this was on Bitcoin, if this was Bitcoin's 4-hour, I would have taken a long here. Taken a long there. So if I'm willing to take a long there, it's got to be, well, I mean, again, this is an inverted chart, so, right, then it's got to be a double top. So, is it confirming? I think we need to go down a little bit more, but next week will be our determiner. We're still kind of holding this 104. If we break below 104, this is confirmed, and we're headed lower. For those of you that might be new to the live stream, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that we formed some kind of double top. And although I kind of took that back after seeing this, we do have this doji reversal. We are trying to confirm it at this point. We have broken our diagonal. It looks like a reversal to me, right? I'd like to see this head back to 101. Stocks are very bullish. This would be incredibly bullish for crypto as well. It's just very surprising to me that Bitcoin is not breaking above all-time highs, given all of the bullish confluence between stocks, Tether, like Tether dominance, for example, and then the dollar, right? And with that said, I think it's a matter of time before Bitcoin starts picking up steam again, which is, again, why I'm looking for longs and not trying to short. But enough on the dollar. I'm not seeing a lot of... Oh, here we go. So again, we have this issue between YouTube and Twitter comments or chat. Like half the chats aren't coming in. Well, I guess they are coming in. They're just slower on Twitter. Weird. The only thing I'm actually worried about is the issue in China right now. More than 40 banks got wiped out. Hopefully it won't become a catalyst for a worldwide issue. Didn't that happen last year where we had a bunch of bank issues? I think it was in here. I know we had some bank kind of crisis here in the US. Is it true that Nvidia is allocating 30% of the S&P 500 index value? I thought Nvidia was part of the NASDAQ. Let me just look that up real quick. Yeah, Nvidia is part of the NASDAQ, and it only makes up 10% of it. Wouldn't shock me if it was holding up the NASDAQ, but that doesn't make up the S&P 500. Yeah, so there's so unrelated to charts. This is a chart, but unrelated to trading charts. I saw a graph. I'm going to try and draw this the best I can. It had a bunch of U.S. banks. So basically you had JP Morgan. I'm just going to draw. You had JP at the top. You had like Fifth Third, PNC. What else are like decently sized banks? I'm just gonna put A, B, C. They're regional but large banks, right? And basically this was healthiness. right? With JP Morgan and Chase being the healthiest bank and then having all these other data points below. Essentially every bank except for JP Morgan and Chase. And you had like a fairness score here where it was like most likely to collapse, right? So JP Morgan is the least likely. No, here, let me draw it this way. So you had, we're going to put health. We'll put like collapse score. So like the higher that this went up, the more likely that bank had like risk, or it's like collapse risk or something like that. But JP Morgan was the healthiest. It had the lowest collapse risk, or had the lowest risk. We'll just put risk. Fifth Third was over. Dude, Fifth Third's a huge bank here in the Midwest, Northeast, and part of the South. And seeing that is scary. Like seeing all these banks in here at risk and in the kind of like low health area is pretty scary. Now that data was a year and a half ago. So for those of you that don't understand why that would be happening, it's because interest rates are going up, right? The banks aren't loaning money to anybody because no one wants to take loans at these rates, right? For a lot of people, like people don't want to buy homes. We had the lowest, I think it's the lowest first time home buyer, or lowest number of first time home buyers in the United States this year. Right? That's because interest rates went up. No one wants to take a mortgage on, one, a housing market that is way overvalued, and two, they don't want to be paying, like the same house you could have gotten 3 years ago, you'd be paying almost 3 times as much for that mortgage. No one can afford that. Right? Yeah, Silicon Valley in March 2023. That's what I was thinking of. So that happened year. Oh, that's what this was, right? The banking crisis. But didn't the U.S. also sell a bunch of Bitcoin somewhere in there? Or was that up here? I know the U.S. sold a bunch of Bitcoin somewhere in this area. And again, even though we had a banking crisis and the U.S. was selling Bitcoin, still shot up. Yeah, they always bring that up to Powell, saying the medium and small banks are slowly going extinct, putting power in the big ones only. Yeah, but the only one that's healthy is JP Morgan. Like there's, of the top 20 banks, only JP Morgan was qualified for a high standard of health. Every other bank was getting dumpstered on. Right? There were a couple banks, I think, towards the end of this that they're gone. But seeing that, like, look, I know JP Morgan, they've got a lot of money, a lot of assets, probably more than most of these banks combined. But if you think of this as a half and this as a half, that's not good. Right? That's half of the banks in the United States are going under. Or, no, I wouldn't say going under. I don't want to scare people. But in an area of, hey, dude, this could be bad if we don't fix this soon. The XY looks like it's making its first higher low on the monthly chart. Well, for the last 2 years, we've just been moving sideways. I wouldn't call this a higher low. Plus, on the weekly, you have a double top. Too early to say. So gold is a scam and Bitcoin is not. I didn't say Bitcoin wasn't a scam, but Bitcoin has much more utility than gold. I mean, other than exchanging, think about it this way, like, the reason I think gold is, like, buying gold as an investment, like a long-term investment. Like, if you're going to go to like, you call one of those commercials and you say, I want to buy $10,000 worth of gold, and they give you a bunch, like, they give you 10 gold bars or whatever, right? And you're buying it because you're one of those weird people that thinks the world's going to end, right? And you're going to hide in your bunker and have your 10 grand worth of gold, and you think that you're going to come out of it a king. Like, no, you're just fucking wrong. Like, no one wants your gold if the world's ended. Like, think zombie apocalypse, right? You guys have seen probably The Walking Dead. How many times in that show did they exchange gold for anything? Maybe they did. I didn't watch it all. But if there's a zombie apocalypse, the only things I want are bullets, fishing hooks, maybe livestock, right? People would be raising livestock, right? Seeds. I want food, man. I want food and water. And maybe like a moderately comfortable place to sleep. And look, I'm not saying like trading gold is a scam. Look, trading anything isn't necessarily a scam. I mean, looking at gold as a long-term investment is definitely a scam. Like, look, at the end of the day, like, you could buy any of these, and if the world ends, your money means nothing, so it doesn't matter. If you buy gold, you just wasted your time. Because, again, gold won't matter. I don't think gold sees the gains that everything else does. I know it's been performing pretty well recently, but just my take doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. All right, guys, I'm going to have to end it there. I've got to go. I hope you learned something new. If you're new to the live stream, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 5 to 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Just a couple other things before I go. The trading bot goes live on Monday. If you want access to it, go to my Discord. Read the trading bot info. It's at the top of the Discord channel. And then last but not least, if my analysis helps you on a daily basis, Coincatch sponsors all the streams. They provide a 15% discount. Coincatch and I would greatly appreciate if you'd support us like we support you by using them as your trading exchange. With all that said, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Should be good weather, so enjoy it. And as always, be patient,